What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Kari Band. Yes, indeed, Kari Band fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi-bobbidi-bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Sean, and Sean wanted to see me react to this song by Kari Band called Samurai Groove. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always the possibility I may have heard this song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by King Records, all right? And the video has 138,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. A link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. I'm assuming that means Kari Band. And I'm assuming that means Samurai Groove. Cool. Music video edit version. As opposed to, is there an unedited version? I don't know. Lots of question marks there. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Nice switch up. And all back in. Nice to see everybody gets a little bit of a chance to shine. I love it when bands do that. Everybody takes, 16 measures, 32 measures, whatever the case may be. And everybody gets a chance to kind of have that solo spot and shine a little bit. Especially when the rest of the band backs them up. In a case like this, we started off with the guitar solo, bass and drums backing him up. Then the bass came in, took a solo. Guitar and drums backed him up. Drummer took over the solo section. Now, this one's probably the trickiest one of all, because now the groove is being handled by the guy who's doing the solo and vice versa. The guy doing the solo is the guy who's supposed to be in charge of the groove. And I like what he did with his solo in particular when he did things like switched up the groove right in the middle, just took 4 measures, got out of that halftime funk and went into more like a straight ahead 4 time, and then, went right back into the groove again. That was really cool. Musicianship wise, these guys know how to play. That's already been very well established. I heard some nice creativity with the solos. It sounded really nice. Nothing sounded out of place. Nothing sounded bad. So I got no complaints. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. Switching up that swing feel. I like that. Gotta let this hang in there. All right. I get it. Pretty straight ahead, actually, if I'm being honest. Not a ton to discuss. So let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Kari Band with Samurai Groove. This was a request from Sean. Okay, not really a whole lot to say. I mean, you just take everything I've ever said about Kari Band in the past, or, depending on their iteration, anything you want to add to, Kami Band from Baby Mel's, practically the same thing. Copy and paste, I mean, these guys are tremendous musicians. They're very talented. They know how to play their instruments inside and out. So, hearing this, am I surprised by it? No. Am I shocked by it? No. Am I impressed by it? To some extent, yes, but there's the shock factor's gone. The surprise factor's gone. I now expect high-level musicianship from these guys. You know what I mean? And I've warned people about this in the past, and the very first time I did a reaction to Kari Band, I even made this statement, if I remember it correctly. I think I made something... I don't know if these were the exact words, but I made something to the effect of, they've set a high bar for themselves now. And they have. They've absolutely set a high bar. I expect nothing less than them when it comes to their musicianship and their technicality. So, impressive to some extent, yes, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and go, it was mind-blowing because I was expecting this. It's still impressive, yes. But the shock factor, the shock and awe factor, the wow factor is gone. So makes it a lot harder for them to get those higher scores. Having said that, though, on a scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give them, for that performance, I am going to give that an 8.6. Yep, 8.6. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, an 8.6. What does that mean? Well, an 8.6 would translate to a great skill rating, because overall, I think this was a great song. It would also get 4 out of 5 stars and an A letter grade. I know it's not an A+, but it's still getting the A, so take that. So there you go, an 8.6, great skill rating, 4 out of 5 stars, and an A letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Okay, listen, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and, pretend like I'm blown away by this, because I'm not. I've heard them do this before. Not this particular song, but I've heard this approach. I've heard this style. I've heard their musicianship. I've heard their technicality. I've heard their cleanliness. I've heard their precision. I've heard it before, okay? So I can't sit here and say I'm blown away. I can't. But I will say I did like what I heard. And I was, to some extent, I was a little impressed. The guitar playing, very nice, very clean, as always. Has some really nice technique, playing with dynamics in particular, and his approach. Having some of those softer attacks, really relying more on softer attacks than he was on, more percussive attacks. Bo on the bass sounded really nice. I like what I saw from him. Also utilizing some great techniques we have seen from him before in the past. We've seen him doing the tapping. We've seen him doing the strumming. We've seen him doing the popping and the slapping. So, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm amazed or I'm blown away or I'm, super impressed, because I've come to expect that from him. I expect no less from him. If I saw less from him, I'd be disappointed. So, still looked good, still sounded good. I got absolutely no issue with anything he did. I think the thing that really kind of impressed me most about the song was what was happening within the drums. The drummer had a real fun time back there, switching between grooves, and not so much switching between feel. I mean, it felt like it was straight time the entire time. I never felt him going to like a double time feel, except for the swing section. When he went to that little swing section, that felt like a double time feel a little bit. But the swing section was nice. The straight ahead funk feel was nice. The four, straight ahead, four time signature rock feel was nice. I mean, he kept switching around with style. It was a stylistic change that he was doing. So it was nice to see that, throwing some different directions in there and watching everybody, mesh along with it. That was nice. It was well done. I already said musicianship across the board from everybody. Everybody did a great job. As always, I expect nothing less. So this is how I'm really coming up with that 8.6. Like I said, these guys to get a 9 now, it's going to be pretty much impossible, if I'm being honest. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's going to be pretty much impossible. But who knows? Maybe they'll pull something out of their bag of tricks that I've never seen before. Maybe they'll do something that really kind of blows my mind, and then I can honestly say I was impressed by that. But nothing about this was really all that impressive. The solo work was nice. It was really cool to see everybody get a solo. When you have a little, instrumental combo band like this, it's always good to see. Not always guaranteed to have that happen, though. Look at Joe Satriani when he was touring back in the 80s with, I know the bassist was Stu Hamm. I forgot who the drummer was. But they were a 3-piece, and Joe took all the solos, There was no bass solos. There was no drum solos. Not that I ever saw or ever heard. But it was all Joe. Joe being the star, that kind of makes sense. But it would have been nice to watch Stu get a solo. Who was the drummer? Oh, Jonathan Hoover. It was Jonathan. It would have been nice to see Jonathan get a drum solo. But in any case, we got a chance to see that here. Everybody took, I think it was 32 measures. I think it was 32. And everybody made the most of it. So that was really nice. Like I said, overall, I got no complaints. None whatsoever. And that's why I'm giving them the great score of 8.6. I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have an 8.6, which is a great skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I've spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then, by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.